Easily though. All right, I've got that recording. I'll trim everything later, and I'm gonna get out of your way. Then, yeah, what time is it? 10:10. Oh, there should be a clock on the. Is there a clock on? Maybe. Not if you're full screen. Oh yeah, it is 11, 10, 11 right there on the right above the. Oh, try not to blind myself by look at it. All right. Oh, really?
I would love to, but I gotta like start my garden first. Ever since we moved into the new house, like I have to do that first.
I was doing a living soil in my own spreadsheet soil stuff. Like you got to block it.
Oh, cool.
Anywhere the city. So it's like it's up and down.
Why are you doing a favor by keeping it on this travel to the plastic? Yes, yeah, I know. Community minded me, so yes. It's a good thing.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. My name is Ann Trokey. Burr Oak Farms, A&D Farms is our family farm name that we've had for the last 14 years. My mom started us out doing farmers markets. Going backwards. I figure out how to do this. There we go. Some background into us doing farmers markets. I grew up on the family farm that my mom eventually gave it the name, and doing gardening to sell. About 14 years ago, Me and my husband bought the property across from them 3 years ago, and we created A&D Farms. We do started out doing mainly the meat stuff, and she did all the produce, but we've kind of expanded. Been doing farmers markets for 11 years myself. I've been in charge of the Higginsville Farmers Market for 9 years, and Lafayette County as the Secretary Treasurer for 9 years. Also, we do 4 markets a week, and we have a farm store on our farm. So some things to remember when you're starting out. Number 1, don't get discouraged. 2, don't limit yourself. You gotta find the market or an event, advertising and pricing. Those are the big ones, I believe. Wrong one. What's up? My husband played with the slides, making it fancy. So don't get discouraged. Some markets do better than others. And honestly, when you're starting out, you're probably going to be more apt to be into a smaller market, and you may not do as well as you think you're going to do just because of the market itself. I mean, we do smaller city markets, we do a big city market. There's a drastic difference between what I'm going to sell and how I'm going to price things at that market versus in the city. So another thing is just kind of learning your base, your customer base. I know I'm going to sell more of this here at this market than at the other market type thing. So just kind of knowing your customer base. Time of year may be a big factor in a lot of things. If you're doing produce, obviously, you're going to have a produce season. Whereas crafters, we always say in July and August that produce is king because people aren't going to go to farmers market necessarily to buy craft items. And crafters tend not to do as well in those months also. Crafters also, your bigger events are going to be more in the fall, late summer, early fall, into even, start before Christmas is going to be your big event if you're doing crafting. Another thing, stick it out. I mean, one market may be horrible, the next market may be great. My mom, very first market we went to, she made $6. I mean, enough to put gas in the granted, this has been 14 years ago. Put gas in her car, filled it up to get back home. The next week, she doubled that. And then, the rest is history, so to speak. Obviously, we stuck it out. We do have some markets that are just, it was a bad day, but we also look back and like, man, we would have thought this was an amazing day 5 years ago, or even last year. So just over time, your customers will learn to depend on you. They're going to count on you to be there. So they can say, oh, I'm going to go to market because they're always there. And that's what we tell our customers. We're always there unless there is like a severe weather storm that they're saying take cover. We're there. Some of our busiest markets have been when it's pouring down rain because the customers are there to shop. They know what they want. They're there to shop, get what they want, and go. You don't have the people like, oh, it's nice outside. Let's just go walk through the farmer's market type thing. Don't limit yourself. So you're going to sell more than one main item. We learned long ago, you cannot just sell strictly produce or strictly, you can, but you have more of a customer base, a broader customer base when you're selling more than one item. So we sell all of the produce, we sell plants early on, we sell all of our farm-raised meat, we sell eggs, we sell crafts, we sell jams and jellies and honeys and pretty much whatever we found early on, whatever was legal that we could do. So that's what we did. Find a standout, something that makes your booth stand out. Crafters, a lot of crafters, they are different in each way. So it's a little easier with craft items. Produce, everyone's going to sell the same produce. When we first started, we sold by the pound. So we had certified scales with the state. We sold everything by the pound. And that was our, niche that we had. Unfortunately, for the last probably 4 years now, it's been too busy for us to do that, because it does take some time to weigh out everything, and it's a little more time intensive, but you also make more money when you're selling by the pound versus a quart of tomatoes or a pound of tomatoes. So, looking in for markets or events. So most farmers markets, you're gonna want to find those the fall before the year you're wanting to start farmers market. Like the Odessa and Higginsville markets that I run, I already had my list together. I have a waiting list. I already had my list together of my vendors and everything when I had the meeting in February of who was gonna be there. It had already done. So unless it was something very specific or unique, it's not likely that you'll just be able to say, hey, can I join your farmer's market that starts next week? So get to looking, because it is getting to where a lot of farmers markets are having waiting lists now. I know every market that we do attend does have a waiting list. So sometimes when you do more than one item, it will get you in the market faster. I've done that with several different people I've added to market. I'm looking for a baker, so hey, do you do baked goods? You come in and they're like, hey, I also do a craft, or I also do some produce. Can I do that too? Sure. If your baked goods is your primary, then you can always kind of get in there with your other stuff that maybe they said, oh, I don't have room for just strictly produce person, or something like that. Advertising is going to be your next thing. Don't count on anyone else to do your marketing for you. You may be part of a farmer's market, but don't count on them to, highlight you, offer what you sell, anything other than them just saying, hey, these are the people that are going to be at farmer's market. So make sure that you are, telling people, sharing posts, whatever is going to work. We've done different things. Unfortunately, social media is going to be your best friend when it comes to this. We've spent, as a farmer's market itself, we spent $3,000 like 6 years ago for the Lafayette County Farmers Market, and we sent out mailer, like we had a custom-made postcard that entered you in for a drawing, for like a big gift card for the market, and we had it set for it went to everyone that had like an Odessa post office or an Odessa mailing address, like a Higginsville mailing address, all of that. So thousands went out. We got back, I think, 10 total, because people have said, oh, you just didn't get it in the mail, or they threw it away, they didn't know. I mean, newspaper ads, unfortunately, newspapers are dying. It's not going to get you a lot. So you could, we spent newspaper ads, we spent a couple $100 to get you like a little, but again, if it's just you doing it for just your personal, again, social media is going to be your best friend when it comes to advertising. So, think of a name for your business. Don't just rely on your personal page. Name for your business, and post, but at the same time, don't overpost too. There's a fine line. You don't want to bombard people. I used to try to make a post about every other day. During market season, I'm doing good to get a post up on our farm page saying what market I'm going to and what I'm going to have, honestly. But that's going to be your best friend. Posting what you got. The wintertime, I tend to do a little bit more things. I've got videos that I got to try to edit to get up on our page when we've been planting and everything like that. So I've got to try to get that done. But just kind of, if you do have a down season, don't go and not post anything. You want to always kind of keep your page active, keep it in the back of people's minds, especially maybe the holidays. Maybe you're doing something that you can offer people that they want to buy for, family members or people that they're giving gifts to. A lot of people have gone to shopping smaller for people for, holidays and birthdays and things like that. So that's something to keep in mind. Get to know your customers. I do kind of have where I get to know my customers, but at the same time, I like to keep my personal, like Facebook page, separate than the business one. I don't have a lot of customers that are friends with me on my personal page, just because it's separate too. So there is another fine line. You don't want, necessarily it to be, some people do all in one. I just personally wouldn't. There's too many things that could kind of, go wrong in my opinion, doing that. But get to know your customers. Get to know them, what they like. I have several customers, hey, I got something that I know that you like, you always get this. So I will let them know, I'll message them, hey, I've got this. Do you want, I'm giving you first dibs for this. So again, because then they're like, hey, these people really know me, I'm gonna shop with them. And then the next thing is share. When I make a post for markets, I will post to my farm page, and then I do a separate one for the market pages, and I share those to the community pages to where I'm going to be at. I share, for example, Higginsville, there's like a couple pages I share for like Higginsville and Lexington. Modessa gets, Big City, Oak Grove, Odessa, Blue Springs. When I do for market in Blue Springs, I mean, I'm hitting all of them. Independence, I'm hitting Lee Summit, I'm hitting Blue Springs, and I'm doing this several different pages. That there are, there's several different community pages. So share those. It can be up to you whether you want to allow commenting on the pages or not on your posts. As far as when you're sharing it, you're always going to have someone that has something to say, regardless. So it's just kind of up to you, and you can always just ignore it. So pricing, a big one, and this is kind of not necessarily a rule, but don't go in and undercut other vendors that are doing the same thing that you are. It's not, you want to think of your farmers market, other vendors, you're going to become a family, a community, so to speak. You're going to kind of learn to rely on each other for things. There's been several times that, hey, I'm out of bags. You got bags I can borrow? Back and forth like that. Sometimes it's been as simple as I need an extra table. My kids they've grown up doing markets. They don't know any different. They are out helping all the vendors put up their tents, especially any of the older ones. They're putting up the tents for them and taking them down and loading their cars and unloading them. So you really want to grow a community with them. So that you don't really want to come in and undercut someone drastically. I'm not saying, I can do it cheaper than that. I mean, in the end of the day, it's going to be what you feel with your conscience. That's kind of our belief. You may do different pricing in different markets. I can tell you I do that. I have different prices for Higginsville, I have different prices for Odessa, and I have different prices for Blue Springs and Concordia. Our farm store even has different prices because we have things a little cheaper there at the farm store as an incentive to people who drive to the farm store. So you're going to have licenses and stuff like that you're going to have to account for when you do your pricing. So obviously the stuff in the city is a little more priced a little higher because I have to have different permits and I have to have different licenses to be there to sell.
Oh, it's not.
So ultimately, like I said, you charge what you believe is right. Well, which you can sleep at night saying, hey, yeah, I charge this, I feel good about this product that I sold, and that's what I feel it's worth, and that's, what I'm charging. Honesty with the customers is a big one too. Our customers know, because obviously we don't grow everything early on. We have stuff in the ground, but we do 4 markets. I can go through 2,000 pounds of tomatoes in a week. So there's no way I can personally grow, even with the 500 tomato plants, I can't grow that much. So we do supplement. We do get things from mainly the Wagglers out of Windsor, and then we have a family for sales. But we get things and we tell our customers, this is where this came from. We get to know how they're doing stuff, how they're growing things. That way I can tell the customers when they ask, hey, how is this grown? Well, this is how it was grown. And I know this because I've gotten to know the family that I'm getting it from. So honesty is a big one. They like, customers don't want to be lied to. Happy customers share about you with other people. So that's going to be your biggest ticket for getting in new customers also. Happy customers are going to tell their friends, they're going to post on media, they're going to say, hey, if they see someone that's looking for something, we have a lot of that. If someone's looking for a specific item, our farm page gets tagged a lot. Hey, they got it, they have this, So we're gonna get into what you can sell at farmers markets because the state has a lot of yeses and nos. Produce, eggs, meat, baked goods, crafts, plants, and whatever they allow that's legal. So produce. Each market is gonna have a different requirements possibly. So you just kind of go with each market. I can tell you that the only thing the state says is that you have to have a tent or an umbrella, something covering the produce, and it cannot be on the ground. So I can't set a box of tomatoes on the ground and sell it from the ground. I can't set watermelon on the ground and sell it from the ground. The only thing that we put on the ground is like the big jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. We even tried to keep our pie pumpkins up. In theory, they said we could, but we tried to keep them up off the ground. So tables, you can put them in bins on the ground. They just can't be touching the ground. Is the big thing with that. Wrong way. And washing your produce and why we don't. We used to wash our lettuces and spinaches and our root crops. Department of Ag, the director of the Department of Ag actually came to our farm because they made a lot of changes with FSMO, and so we had a nice little visit, and we asked them to come out and, hey, can you let us know these rules and what we need to do. They said don't wash anything, because when you add water into the mix, when you add water, you're opening up yourself to a bigger liability, because that's something to keep in mind insurance wise. You are opening yourself up to a bigger liability that allows the more possibility of contaminants to get into the produce, into your lettuce and stuff. Because unless you have the whole washing station, which is it's a big setup, a washing station that takes you from the whole ordeal, washing, sanitizing, all of that stuff, don't even get into it. We will brush the dirt off of the radishes and the turnips, and we'll brush the dirt off, and the potatoes same way, just kind of brush them off. Our green onions, again, we will brush off the dirt. Sometimes we'll trim up the roots a little bit. If they're really, really crazy, we'll trim those up. The actual onions, like the actual onions, we will peel the outside layer off usually, and let them, when they're drying down, let them do that. That may be it. I thought I had another example, but I think that may be it. So yeah. Eggs are a big one that everyone wants to sell, but guess what? You have to have a state license. But it's only $5, and I have the website here. It's under weights and measurements. They regulate the eggs. There is a special license you get for farmers markets. Now, to sell directly off your farm, you have a cooler, or even if they're selling off the farm, they do not have to be washed. If you're taking them to farmers market, they have to be washed and sanitized by state law. So if you're selling off your farm, they can be unwashed. You don't even need a license to sell off the farm. But once you take them to a farmer's market, you do have to have a license. And so under the retail, there's a regular retail license, and then there's one that's specifically for farmer's market, and it says it on the website. Now, if you're putting your eggs, like we sell our eggs we had them in different stores, and we have a restaurant in Blue Springs taking all of our eggs right now. So we have a dealer's license also, which is another $5. So it's not horrible, it's not bad. Weights and measurements, they used to go out and they used to inspect to see how you were washing, how you were sanitizing the eggs and packaging them. Honestly, and I don't know if it's just because we've been doing it for so long and we've been doing it right for so long that they just quit coming or quit doing it, or if they just don't have the manpower to do it anymore. So the other thing is, like I said, washed and sanitized. Again, you're not scrubbing them. You don't want to scrub the eggs. I just put them, I get warm, not scalding hot, just warm water in the sink with like a squirt of soap is it. because I can put like 5 dozen in there, and I let them sit there for a couple minutes. Your eggs should be mostly clean, but you know, you always get those few that are just like, what did you do to this egg? So I just let them soak there, and then I will have water running, and I just kind of wipe them down like that. Every now and then you get one, like I have a little bamboo scrubby thing, and because you don't want to scrub, I kind of like brush it to see if they'll come off. Sometimes there's just spots on there that will just, they're not coming off. And then you also have to, after you wash them and then you put them in, let them dry for a second, put them in a weak bleach solution to sanitize. Let them dry, then you candle them. Flashlight, use a flashlight, candle them. Make sure there's no cracks or anything like that, and then package them up. So, they used to say that you had to use brand new egg cartons that were blank, that you had your farm info on, that you couldn't reuse store ones. It was illegal. Then COVID happened. And egg cartons became scarce. You couldn't get new egg cartons, and if you did, you were paying a fortune for them. So they have actually changed that. You can now reuse store egg cartons, but you have to make sure that your info, like, so label of you that yours is on there, or some way your information is on there. That way they can trace it back if need be. So you have to be able to, if you take them to farmer's market, they have to be kept at 45 degrees or cooler. So usually for the most time with eggs, ice in a cooler with a thermostat or thermometer works. Because usually when health department comes to buy, they're going to check you for it. And they like to have a thermometer in there, that way you know that it's cool enough. So, like I said, usually we've done coolers with ice packs before, in bags like around the eggs, and it usually does just fine. And then, like I said, again, you must have your farm name or contact info on the carton. The biggie is your name and at least some way to contact you. An email, address, phone number, however you want to do it. It has to have a way that they can trace it back to you. Meat is the next one, and this is kind of an up-and-coming one. It seems we've been selling meat at farmers markets for probably 9 years now, and we used to be the only ones that were doing it for pretty much anywhere, but now everyone wants to sell meat. So to sell meat at farmers market, it must be a USDA or Missouri inspected facility that you're using. It can be either. The only USDA facility is Clinton, Powell's in Clinton is going to be USDA. The next closest one is, I am told Cutting Up, I have not personally used Cutting Up, I'm told Cutting Up is the Missouri inspected, and then Kemp's in Sedalia is going to be Missouri inspected. We use Kemp's. So those are going to be your Missouri inspected ones. The other USDA one is going to be Paradise Meat Lockers in Trimble. They have changed. We've used them before, but they've changed some stuff up, and now they want you to take 5 hogs in at a time, and it's a little pricey. And then the Swiss Meats in Herman is the other USDA facility, and again, we've used them too. Chickens and rabbits can be butchered at home and sold. They are the exclusion. You can do up to 1,000 a year, or 999 a year, and not have to have it go through a facility. Honestly, I don't know of a place that does rabbits. I do know of a chicken facility we use to process our chickens is a USDA inspected facility, and it is in Versailles. It's Shady Maple Farms is who we use. I've been told there's one in Kansas, but I'm not sure if it's still around. It's been a few years on that one. Rabbits, again, I don't know of anyone. I know that there is a person that was doing rabbits, I want to say around Lexington area, that was actually used to be a butcher and was doing them so well that he was allowed to butcher at home and actually put in the stores, because he was doing it so well. You gotta keep it frozen. Dry ice in a cooler can work with a thermometer. We've been doing it so long. We have meat freezers in the egg cooler that we roll. It rolls out because we have a market trailer, so everything rolls in and out. Obviously, that's usually a little pricey to get going into. The biggest problem you're gonna have with this is gonna be the dry ice. Last time I checked was Hy-Vee and Lee Summit was the only place even remotely close that had dry ice. And you had to kind of pre-order it or then know when you were gonna want it. So that's the only kind of downside with the meat. Brad Hughes, he is the meat contact for the Missouri Department of Ag, and this is his phone number. And you can tell him that Ann with Burrow Farms said talk to you. He's really knowledgeable, really great guy. His biggest thing is, wants to make sure everyone knows the rules and is doing it right. We are actually on the list for Missouri, that's the farm to fork list, which you don't have to be on to sell your meat, but basically it lists, I guess, all the places that are been, I guess, inspected with the state, so to speak. The state's come out and said, oh yeah, it's all done correctly, you're good to go type thing. But like I said, the biggies are making sure the inspection facilities, and making sure when you take it in, you have to tell them, because you're gonna pay more for it to be inspected. This is inspected, I need it inspected, it needs to be butchered under inspection, it needs to be, cut up under inspection and packaged for resale. Because that's the biggie. You're gonna find a lot of people you probably see on Facebook are selling meat that says not for resale. Guess what? It's not been inspected. That's why it says not for resale. It is actually a funny law, not funny I guess in a sense, but it is actually illegal to take, it's called custom butchering when it's not inspected. It's custom butchering. It's illegal to get an animal, say you buy a cow or you take a cow in and have it butchered and then feed it to anybody outside of your household if it's not been inspected. You can't, make up whatever and take it to the church crock pot meal or whatever. It's actually illegal. Do they enforce it? I'm not sure, but it's supposedly illegal. Baked goods. So most all the baked goods stuff falls under the Missouri cottage law. It covers jams, jellies, sweetbreads, yeast breads, pies, as long as they're not, basically no custard, no cream, no custard pies, no, so like pumpkin pies, like a no. No coconut cream pies, banana pies, no jams and jellies. It cannot be low sugar or no sugar. You have to follow the recipe to a T. Another thing, counties can be more restrictive. This one also, no sugar jam, no salsas, no pickled items, no home canned fruit or veggies or barbecue sauces. But you can do fresh salsa, you can do refrigerator pickles, and you can do refrigerator barbecue sauce that has a 7-day expiration date. But again, you have to keep it cold while you're at market. So yeah, that's craft items. Most markets allow any crafts that you have as long as it's made by you, and that's a big one on a lot of them. You can't go, believe it or not, there are craft auctions, and you can go and buy the crafts and sell them, but it has to be made by you. Don't sell yourself short on pricing on crafts. You're not really going to get your time back that you put into it, but don't sell yourself short. Don't, price it for what you think you should be getting. Whatever else they allow. So, there's so many things that can be sold. You just have to ask. Get to know your health department. Get to know, say, hey, how can I sell this? Is this legal? And how can I sell it? The one thing that's not allowed anywhere, as of the last check when I called in the beginning of March, you know what that is? Even though it's legal in the state, you can't sell anything with marijuana in it. Anywhere, in any markets, any counties, any of that. Basically, the state's scrambling to play catch up to get the rules in place to allow things. But their thing is, if you sell anything, seeds, plants, infused like edibles, anything. You have to have a dispensary license. You have to have out of a certified kitchen. You have to have, labels approved, recipes approved, all of that stuff. So, and that kind of goes back with the pickles. Like the pickled items and the salsas and stuff like that. You probably see some people selling that stuff. It's illegal. It's illegal to do unless you have gone through the state and you've paid to take the class. You've paid to have each recipe approved and each label approved. And I know 2 people that have done this, and it's cost like $10,000 or more to get it all done. So again, that's why. And pickled items are probably the safest, and we tell people contact your representative, because Missouri is one of, I think, about 14 states that does not allow pickled items, where other states all allow pickled items. It's pretty safe item. So, contact them, say, let's get this changed, is our kind of our response. As far as like home canned goods, like, you know, green beans stuff, I tell people I would, because I have a lot of people come to the market and ask, oh, you know, I would not want to buy home canned green beans from anybody that I don't know, first off. Second off, that even if I did know, I don't know if I would want to buy them, because botulism is not fun. So, because you never know. I mean, you just never know what can go wrong. They may have not followed the directions correctly. You don't know. And that's something that's not really a safe item, so to speak. So, that is the end of it. Do you guys have any other questions or anything?
Do you have like a business card?
Me personally? No, but not with me. I even asked my mom, like, the Burrow Farms are over here. I was like, did you bring a card? And she's like, I don't know that I did. So we'll have to see. I'm on Facebook, obviously. Yeah, Burrow Farm is on Facebook. Yeah. Yep, and you can shoot me a message if you have any questions too. That's always an option.
You have to have an LLC.
You do not have to have an LLC. If you are doing, my mom's more of the tax person on that, but if you are doing a business and you're registering in the state, so you just pay to get your, first off, you have to get your no tax due letter. Obviously, you have to get a no tax due letter from the state, which takes about a week or so. We actually just got one for my son to start his business, so it takes about a week. Then you take that and you get your business license and your resale number and all that fun stuff. So you can estimate how much you're going to make each quarter or month, and then they can send you bills. Obviously, starting out, I would put that number very low, where you wouldn't have to necessarily pay anything, because you don't know. I mean, he's actually the one that we put him. The egg businesses, like we said, we have eggs going to a restaurant in Blue Springs. It's his, and so that's what we estimated. We knew what we were going to be making on a bare minimum, taking the eggs up there and stuff. So that's what we put in for that. So sales tax will be another thing that you'll look at. But I have a different with LLCs. It's actually more of a pain to find. Truth be told, it gives you a little bit more protection, but honestly, it's not worth the hassle. You have to file your taxes you have to file your taxes by month for it. And you have to keep immaculate records. Money cannot commingle. It has to be very strict and separate. So my mom has, my Burrow Farms is an LLC. A&D Farms is not an LLC. Which is nice, because sometimes I have to, hey, shoot, I put the check in the wrong account, I need to transfer, or they made out the check to the wrong account. We sell a lot of meat, like a lot of custom, we have 2 beef a month going out, but I get check, oh, they made it out to me personally. So I'll put it in there and I'll have to switch it over to the account. Whereas there would be a paperwork nightmare with an LLC. I actually had a friend that had an LLC and she got rid of it. She's like, nope, I'm not doing it. So she said her tax person told her it was not worth it. And that's another thing. I mean, I don't want to do it. I've done my own tax. We've done our own taxes for I don't know how long with the farm and stuff like that. I used to do taxes when I was younger, and so I do it. And I'm like, I do not want the headache of an LLC. So yeah. I mean, it gives you a little bit like extra protection, but like we found market insurance, because that's another thing. We found market insurance through what's called Flip. It's online, and you can select different levels of coverage and stuff, but it covers your baked goods. Whereas, like, I went to Farm Bureau to ask them, because that's who covers our farm, and I said, hey, market insurance, they don't even cover baked goods, because it's like a whole ordeal. You have to have a certified kitchen and all that stuff. And the meat, it was the same thing. It was just kind of like a high, whereas the flippant, they covered it all. And I pay, we have a higher like coverage amount and stuff like that. I pay like, I think it's like $67 a month. For insurance. And that covers me in all my markets. It covers my trailer when I'm traveling to markets. It covers all the contents and all that.
So that's Flip?
It's called Flip, yeah. Flip, F-L-I-P. Yep. And it's all, like I said, it's online. So.
I have a question.
Yep.
So your season, when does your farmer's market season start and stop?
So we actually, all of our markets bumped up this year to starting the 1st of April. Normally they would be in May. So I start in 2 weeks, all of my markets start. So,
And then do you guys go through like September? Or
I think almost all of them, Higginsville will be through September, but my other ones are gonna be through October. So, yeah, seasons can be pretty long. It seems like more and more people are wanting to be longer, but again, weather and stuff like that, you just never know. Is everyone else any questions on around? Trying to be at the
I'd like to
end,
get into South Hill again.
Thank you.
I have not enough time. I finally just fed mine and stuff in the fridge. I was like, I'm done. I went